Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then welcome. I'm glad you are here. Today, I would like to share with you this tutorial to create beautiful winter Christmas postcard with the red dots teapot and bubble hat. All supplies you can find in the description box, and there is also on the link the template to use. Download it down and enjoy the painting. For this painting, I'm going to use the watercolor brush pens. The color list you can find in the description box. With the watercolor brush pens, you have more control over the painting process, and blend the colors on the wet paper is super easy. They make soft edges and the painting is comfortable. Besides, the pointed brush is handy to create the details. I'm going to start by fixing the paper on the desk with rose tape. I like this rose tape because it doesn't damage the surface after removing it. I'm going to draw the teapot shapes with graphite pencil F, but you can choose HB1 as well, or if you prefer it. You can follow along and paint with me to my demonstration, but I would like to encourage you to draw your own teapot. If you don't dare to do it with me, the outlines template is ready on the link in the description box. I'm going to start in the center with the teapot shape. Okay, some round dots on the cover. I'm going to use the masking fluid to cover the dots. Be careful with using the masking fluid and use for it the really old brush or the nib pen, because the liquid destroys the hair of the brush forever. From nib pen you can clean the masking fluid effortlessly, but from the brush you don't. I'm going to start in the middle front part of the teapot, where the teapot has the darkest red part with the long lines around the dots to the bottom line. Dip the brush into clean water, load it with water and start washing and softening the hard edges and blend them into pale watery hue and spread the color on the paper. Don't care about the dots, they are protecting by masking fluid. Just paint over them. Okay, I'm going to use the red brush pen to define the edge of the teapot and make it a little bold to get there the illusion of curvy shapes. I'm drawing the little bent strokes along the edge. grab the wet brush and soften the hard edges. The other side needs to be deepening. I'm using for it the grey brush pen and I'm softening and blending the dark color to create a smooth look. Let's move on. I'm drawing the little bent strokes along the edge. Once again, I'm washing the bold and robust strokes with a clean wet brush into watery tone. Don't be afraid to use more water to get that really pale watery red color. The same technique I'm going to use also on the teapot handle. The bold lines first, and then I'm going to washing the edges. Let on the middle part of the teapot handle the lighter pale red color strip like a highlight. Let's move to our winter bubble hat. I'm using the pale grey brush pen to define the shadows and the shapes. Add some contrast line. I'm going to outlining the top of the hat. And with the vertical lines I create the structure. Watch the hard strokes. Oh, my favorite part, the pom-pom. The base of pom-pom I create with the pale blue brush pen. Shape the circle with the brush. Let's move on the winter scarf. Paint the white object is the challenge all the time, because we need to keep the parts white, but also white scarf has shadows, and we need to highlight them. The addition of used brush pen has a handy color named light sky blue, which is a really muted watery color, the ideal option for shadows. I'm going only to indicate the lines and structure of scarf with lines to keep the white look. I'm washing the lines and the blue colors is transforming into watery invisible color like shadows. I need some structure also on the winter hat. I'm drawing the fine lines along with the hat. And on the plaited bottom border of the hat too. Oh, let's create some fluffy pom-pom. I'm drawing only the thin hairs to get there the fluffy effect. some contrast on the scarf lines. And I'm softening the edges with a wet brush. Now we have to sit down the teapot, not to levitate on paper. I'm going to create some shadow under the teapot. I'm using the grey brush pen, and with long straight lines I'm painting the shadow at the bottom. I'm going to make it smooth, and I'm washing the hard strokes with a really wet brush into watery invisible color. Paint on the scarf the pattern with vertical and horizontal lines. With the eraser, I'm rubbing out the masking fluid. And you have done. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy my today's video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel to get more tutorials, and you can check my Instagram too, or if you want. See you soon. Bye. Mwah.